Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to do a demo today using a couple of pieces of software. Uh, I have a son-in-law. He's really handy, and he figures out stuff to do. If he doesn't know how to do it, what does he do? He goes on YouTube and he figures out how to do it. I have a friend. He's an engineer. What does he do? He's an engineer. He's got a degree in engineering. He loves tweaking on his car, his truck. He's building a Quonset hut up in the mountains. He does all of this stuff, and he learns a lot of it by, believe it or not, I wonder how you do that. Look on YouTube. I'm watching a guy 3-4 days ago. I'm just loving his stuff. I'm learning stuff. And he comes to an end screen. And I looked at that end screen and I said, wait a sec, how did he do that? And my wheels start turning. How did he do that? And the more I thought about it, I said, I can recreate that. I can recreate it. So I did. Here's the recreation. An end screen, which is kind of cool. Now, it's got some animation to it, so it looks more like this. Well, when you go to an end screen at the end of a video, this pops in and that pops in. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I can recreate that. And I can. And I will right now. So this is Keynote. I'm down in the corner. I'm not keynoting, I'm just an overlay. But this is Keynote. You can do the same thing in PowerPoint. You could probably, excuse me, you could probably do it to some degree in Canva. But right now, we're in Keynote. And so this is how I created it. I'm going to recreate it. So let's start with a line. And we're going to leave the line white. We're going to make it 26 inches. And not 100% sure on the angle, but that looks about right, don't you think? It's close. Doesn't have to be perfect, because if you're a perfectionist, you're going to spend 3, 4, 5 hours making this, and you really don't need to. So I want a piece of clip art. Actually, I want a background. Now, this background is orange. The background is going to disappear. I put it on orange for the obvious reason, well, may not be obvious, but for the reason that you can see it. So if I turn the background off, wait a sec, if I turn the background off, it would just be hard to see, just a little hard to see. So, we're filling it with orange. Now, what I want to do is make this portion here that's angled, I want to make it a different color. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick a square. Let's make it red. And I'm going to make it big. And then I'm going to rotate it. As closely as I can get to that. Now that's close. Piddle around with it. Like I say, you can piddle around with it just to a certain point. That's as close as I want to get. And I'm going to put it over top of, to some degree, the white line. But I want the white line on top. So I'm going to go up here, put it to the back. And because there's still a little bit of orange going on, I got to make it a little bit bigger. So now I'm covering that section. Do I want to leave it red? No, I don't. I want to make it like the previous one. So, style. I've got that saved down here, the color that I want. And so there it is. Now I'm going to go back to the white line, get rid of this, and I'm going to create a shadow, which is what I did, a drop shadow. 5 points of blur, maybe it can be a little blurrier. I've got the full offset of 50, and I've got some opacity at about 50%. And so there I've got a bit of a shadow going on. Now there was a computer on there. It's a piece of clip art. And the clip art that I'm using, I've already got it downloaded. So I went on and I found the piece of the icon or the piece of clip art that I wanted. So I'm just going to drag it on there. And it's huge. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. And the one thing about this piece of clip art is I wanted to make sure that the interior is 16 by 9 ratio, which is the exact, which is the exact same as the screen. So we've got that. Now I had a logo down here. So I'm going to drop in this logo, make it a little smaller than that even. And we had it popping in, so I'm going to go over here to Animate, Add Effect, and I had it cube in, just like that. I'm going to take the duration and put it at 1.5 seconds. We had some words in there, easy online impact, so I'm going to need some text. Did I spell it right the first time? Looks like I did. I'm going to click back on that, and I'm going to go back over here to Format, Text, and use the text that I had. The text that I had was called Luckiest Guy. And the size was, a little bigger so you could actually read it. But then I had it come in a certain way, so I got to go back over here to Animate, add an effect to go all the way down, and it was Trace. And I'm going to put that at 1.5 seconds as well. So if we were to run this, this is going to wait until somebody clicks on it. Well, we're not going to click on it. We're going to go after transition. So when the slide comes on, it's going to do it automatically. This one is set to wait as well. Well, I want it to go after the first one, and the first one is the logo. So now it looks like this. Looks kind of the same, doesn't it? Well, that's because it is pretty much the same. Now, in order to differentiate this from the other one, let's put something else on there. So let's copy this, and we'll put this as demo. So now it'll do this. Boom, boom. There we go. And just because for the funsies, we'll center that up a little bit more. So that's what we've got. This comes in all by itself. Now, we got to get rid of that orange background before we export it. So we go to Color, No Fill, get rid of the orange. And now we're going to export this. Let's see how it looks. There's the first one. Close. Close enough. Let's say it's close enough. So what we want to do now is go over to File, Export. And we're exporting it as a movie because we have moving parts in here. So it needs to be a movie. Export as a movie. Your save screen comes up. We just want to do the second page. We don't want any delay on the front end or delay between anything. I got resolution. It's on Apple ProRes. That's important because you want to click this box here that says export with transparent backgrounds, which means the left-hand side that you see is going to be transparent. That's important. And we're going to save it. We're going to save it to downloads, end screen test 2. And we're saving it to the downloads folder. Now back over here, I'm going to go into demo mode. No, I'm not. Back over here, I'm going to go into demo mode. There we go. And we're going to go to a blank screen. Now, this is the background. Blank screen would look black, but I just have a background on there. And I'll get this ready. You see end screen test 2. So this is the background. The first thing we need is me back into the picture. So I'm going to go see if I can get this a little closer here. There we go. So I'm going to go into here, click this. It pops up in the same way that I've had it, but I want to get rid of the color, the border. So we get rid of the border. We want to get rid of the curve. And let me see if I can get this just a little bit better. There we go. And we're going to come up there. We're going to make this a custom. That's good. There, bring me down. Bring me over some. Let's go back a little bit. We're going to bring in the overlay, which is end screen test 2. Now I can just drag it right on top, or I can bring it over here to the actual scene. And I'm going to put it on top. So there it is. Now you can see that there's a little bit there. And we want to make that a little bit bigger so that there's not that little spot right there. So we're going to just pull that over just a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to drop that down below the overlay. And we have it for the most part, but there's this thing in there. If you notice, there's this thing in here that is a website. And I can actually scroll the website. I'm controlling that. So we're going to come back down to the blank screen, see where it pops up, and you see where demo comes in, so you know I've made it brand new. But we want that website to come in. So we're going to come over here to this little guy, and it is a widget. So let me go back out. Wow, there we go. We'll just call this test. I already have a website picked. I'm going to add the widget. And I want the widget to be the same size as that screen. Now in the widget, I have a couple of options. If I click this, it makes the widget interactive. See that? And it is on top. It is over here. Widget to set, which means I spelled test wrong. And I'm wondering why I'm frozen on my other screen. Did this all just go sideways? That would be interesting to understand. I don't think it did. I think there's something else going on. So here I am. We've got that. Let's take a look at the, there's the other thing that pops up. And here's the one that pops up that I just made. And that's how you create the end screen. Now you're thinking, that was an awful lot. It's easier than you think. It really is. I look at something and I figure it out, and I have done this enough to go, you know what? I can figure this out. And my concept is, so can you. This is easy, and with a little bit of practice, you get quicker at it and quicker at it and quicker at it. I created this for the second time only. I figured it out the first time. The next time I did it, easier and easier. And the idea is to make things as easy as possible when you go online, but you also want to look good. Let's be honest. Doing an end screen like this looks a whole lot better than, well, that doesn't look that bad either when you think about it. But, oh, let me see if I can do this on the fly. Well, let's get rid of demo mode at this point. There. I think we're back just to a full screen. And that's how you can do it. I suppose if I show you this, I could create an entire blank screen again. And it could just be that, which is not bad. But this looks a whole lot better. And that's just a demo of how I saw something that this guy had as an end screen. I recreated it myself, and you can do it as well. Just figure it out a little bit, do it. It really is easier than you think. Have a great day.